The Alice Stewart Show is on the air and on your radio right now. Here's more from Alice on 96.5 The Voice.
Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show, 7:34 on a fine Tuesday morning. Make sure you mark your calendar for this Saturday. There's going to be a big event. The Young Republicans of Arkansas will be getting together with the candidates, the Republican candidates, for a 2014 debate. And we'll be discussing many of the issues. I'll be participating on the panel, and we will be talking about the key issues in this election cycle. And certainly, healthcare is one, jobs and the economy are key factors. But this Saturday is a primary debate hosted by the Arkansas Federation of Young Republicans. It is going to be at the Clarion Inn Medical Center on University Avenue here in Little Rock. This is 4 different debates with the candidates for governor, 2nd Congressional District, 4th Congressional District, as well as the Attorney General. We'll be broadcasting it live here on 96.5. You can catch it right here on this station or streaming live on the internet. And we'll be talking about key issues that are being discussed in these primary debates. Several of the NBC stations will delay the debate and play it at a later date. We expect it to be next week, so you can catch all the candidates as they debate the key issues. And this week, we're going to be touching base with many of those who will be participating. And right now, we're joined by State Representative Bruce Westerman, who is running for Congress. Representative Westerman, great to have you here.
Good morning, Alice. Great to be on your show.
Well, thank you for joining us. You are running for 4th District Congress. Right, your primary opponent is Tommy Mull. And I just want to visit with you. You've been out and about touring the state and talking with voters and gripping and grinning. What are folks talking to you about? What is on the voters' minds in your particular race?
Well, obviously, the Obamacare is a huge issue that people talk about everywhere that I go. Even when you try to talk about other issues, the issue of Obamacare comes up quite often. So I think that's going to be a big issue in the race.
And clearly, you've made that clear that you certainly stand against it, against many of the aspects of it, but government overreach, the promises by this administration, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. If you like your insurance, you can keep it. The premiums will be lower, which is not the case. And what do you tell folks in terms of what would be your plan in dealing with Obamacare if you were to be elected?
And Alice, I believe Obamacare is just kind of the poster child of what's wrong with our country today. The real issue seems to be the overreach of the federal government, kind of the centralized top-down control that's coming out of Washington, D.C. I think we need to repeal Obamacare, but I think there's much deeper issues that we need to address, and that's getting the federal government back in control and preserving our liberties is what it comes down to.
And clearly, you'll be debating these issues on Saturday with your opponent, Tommy Mull. And just I want to ask you how, when you get up there on the debate stage, how will you distinguish yourself and your experience on this key issue of Obamacare with your opponent?
Well, I've got a record is the main thing. I've voted against Obamacare many times in the state legislature, and I've led the fight to prevent the implementation of Obamacare in Arkansas, in both the Obamacare exchanges and the private option or the Medicaid expansion. And I think that's going to be the main distinguishing part is that I actually have a record. I've worked hard for several years fighting against not only Obamacare but the other top-down regulations coming from D.C.
And with regard to that, in terms of having a record and serving in Arkansas legislature, Republicans control the House and the Senate here in Arkansas, and major progress was made on certain issues, whether it be private option or pro-life issues, certainly Second Amendment, voter ID. How is working in the leadership aspect in the House with Republican leadership, how has that helped you in preparation for what you will see in D.C.?
I think it's just given me the experience that you can't get anywhere else. It is hard to get legislation passed, even in the state legislature where you're one of 100. So I know what lies ahead in going to Washington, D.C. and being one of 435 in the U.S. House. But, Alice, I also want to just say thank you to the YRs and the great work that they're doing. Before I ran for the state legislature in 2010, I replaced Senator Sample. Now he was in the House seat, and he was the only Republican in the Arkansas state legislature in the 4th District, and now we're up around 20 representatives and senators. So we're in a new day in Arkansas, and I think it's great that we're actually having debates in a Republican primary. They're going to be broadcast on statewide TV. So, and Jack Avery and the group that's putting this together, I really appreciate what they're doing, and I'm excited about our future as Republicans here in Arkansas.
Another big issue that will be front and center in Washington, certainly budgetary matters. As you know, here on the state level, you have the responsibility of, you and your colleagues there have the responsibility to balance the budget. In D.C., there's not that restriction. They spend like drunken sailors. But let me ask you about the recent Paul Ryan budget plan that was passed there in the House. Has significant cuts in key areas, also sought to balance the budget. Where would you stand on Paul Ryan's budget plan?
Well, there are parts of Paul Ryan's budget that I really like, and one of those is the reforms in Medicaid. It's much like what I pushed for reforms here in Arkansas, and that's to go for a block grant on your Medicaid program and then get a global waiver from the federal government. That way you actually take less money from the federal government each year, but you get the global waiver so you can design your Medicaid plan to meet the needs of citizens in your state. Where this has been tried before, it has been proven to be very successful, where it saves taxpayers money plus provides better services for Medicaid beneficiaries. So I'm really pleased that Congressman Ryan had that part in his budget.
And how important is it, do you see, for the federal government to try and work like the states do in making the serious decisions about what needs to be cut, reducing spending, and eventually getting to where we have a balanced budget? Do you support that idea?
Yeah, how about just the federal government working like families and businesses work, where you actually have a budget? My family needs a budget. My business needs a budget. Our state has a budget. The federal government doesn't even have a budget, much less a balanced budget. So, yeah, the first part of financial responsibility is to come up with a budget, and I don't believe we've had one since Barack Obama's been president. So we need to pass a budget, and it needs to be a conservative budget, and we need to get to a balanced budget as soon as possible.
Well, certainly that will be a pie-in-the-sky dream for elected officials there in Washington, D.C. Representative Bruce Westerman, we appreciate your time this morning and look forward to seeing you on Saturday at the Young Republican debate. Representative, thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
All right. That aspect of the debate, there's a series of them, but you can catch the 4th Congressional District debate at 11:20 here in Little Rock, in broadcasting live here on 96.5. You can listen on the website at 965 The Voice, but that debate between Bruce Westerman and Tommy Mull at 11:20 this Saturday. We'll take a break. We'll come back with gubernatorial candidate Curtis Coleman debating this Saturday. This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by Arrow Plumbing. For all of your household or business plumbing needs, call Arrow Plumbing at 1-866-PLUMBER or schedule an appointment online at arrowplumbing.net. We'll be back.
The Alice Stewart Show on 96.5 The Voice.
Only know you